If passed, the levy will last for a period of 5 years and would go into effect on January 1st, 2019. Here in front of the graffiti wall is one of many places white supremacists have used to spread hateful propaganda, such as hanging bodies and hurtful comments such as build the wall. The Alexander school system is facing a serious money crunch. Voters haven't approved a levy in 27 years, but this time they hope to break their nearly 3-decade-long losing streak. More than 100 people turned out Saturday to fix the field. It all started after a Facebook post let people know just how much damage the field suffered from the flooding. While Ohio University is not at the top of universities with these kind of events, both students and religious leaders in Athens say even one is too many. The manager of recreation programs for Nelsonville told us the damage from last night's rain might not be as severe as what they just cleaned up. Still, practice will once again be delayed at least throughout this week. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Jennifer Prempeh. Voters have already begun to cast their ballots in early voting, but the election is May 8th. Reporting live from Newswatch at noon, I'm Jennifer Prempeh. So far this year, OU has not seen any such incidents, but Anthony says the Student Senate is working hard to make sure the university community is fighting hate with love.
Newswatch at noon reporter Jennifer Prempeh is live from the newsroom and tells us why the school board is saying the added dollars are essential for the schools.
The Alexander school system is facing a serious money crunch. Voters haven't approved a levy in 27 years, but this time they hope to break their nearly 3-decade-long losing streak. The levy is familiar to voters. The school district has been persistent about getting it passed because the district has been flat funded from the state for the last 8 years. Alexander School Board President Fred Davis says it is critical that the levy pass. If not, the school will not receive additional funding from the state.
And the state says we are not paying our fair share toward educating our students in the Alexander school system, and basically we'll get no new money until we start to pick up what they perceive as our fair share.
The odds of a successful election are not great for the school district, and despite the obvious need, the community has no answers as to why it continues to reject the tax.
If this doesn't go through, I really think that the school board and other folks need to do some research in the community to figure out, what it is, like why isn't it passing? Because there's definitely a need. And budget cuts are happening, and they are almost positive from what I've read that they aren't going to get any more money from the state. And so something has to happen.
If passed, the levy will last for a period of 5 years and would go into effect on January 1st, 2019. But if the levy doesn't pass, Alexander schools may increase fees for classroom and after-school activities. Voters have already begun to cast their ballots in early voting, but the election is May 8th. Reporting live from Newswatch at noon, I'm Jennifer Prempeh.
Newswatch at noon reporter Jennifer Prempeh is live in the newsroom with how the OU community is taking the news.
While Ohio University is not at the top of universities with these kind of events, both students and religious leaders in Athens say even one is too many. ADL has been keeping track of the white supremacist incidents on college campuses for the last 3 years. The state of Ohio ranking for these incidents as the 6th highest in the country has come to a shock to people in Athens.
I think that's very disturbing. I personally haven't seen that much to be ranked 6th.
Anthony Iliopoulos is the communications director for the College of Democrats of Ohio. He says he didn't think Ohio University has had serious incidents, but he does recall some that stood out.
I mean, you do see some instances of flyering and on the graffiti wall, stuff like that. Unfortunately, there hasn't been like a demonstration like one in Charlottesville that's happened at OU. That would be very disturbing.
The ADL started tracking instances in an effort to fight anti-Semitism and all forms of hate. What they found was a total of 346 incidents since September 2016. Here in front of the graffiti wall is one of many places white supremacists have used to spread hateful propaganda, such as hanging bodies and hurtful comments such as build the wall.
Yeah, so when we're talking about Jewish people and our reaction to anti-Semitism, I think I experience much less anti-Semitism than other people. And I think the reason is because people look at me and they see that being called a Jew is not an insult. I'm very proud of that.
Rashik says he is not fazed about the incidents on this campus. He says he believes that we are all equal and that we should ignore all the hate and move forward. More than 100 people turned out Saturday to fix the field. It all started after a Facebook post let people know just how much damage the field suffered from the flooding. One of the moms of a ball player posted these pictures on Facebook. Scores of Nelsonville residents answered the call. Baseball coach Rick Herzog says it was something to see.
We have all walks of life out here. We got the Nelsonville Fire Department's out here. We have volunteer firefighters like myself, and we have construction workers. We have OU employees out here. All have families, all have kids that play baseball, so it affected us all.
This baseball field was completely underwater about a week ago. As you can see, the fence is completely destroyed. So community members had to take matters into their own hands. The Facebook post called for residents to bring whatever supplies they could. And youth leader Dan Cavaney says, as usual, they stepped up.
The community of Nelsonville is a really tight-knit community, and whenever something like this is put on one of the social media outlets or something like that, people always come together here to really put together a team effort to get something like this taken care of.
The goal for Saturday was to bring this baseball field back to life. Herzog says following Saturday's cleanup, the community can once again enjoy the sport of baseball here. The manager of recreation programs for Nelsonville told us the damage from last night's rain might not be as severe as what they just cleaned up. Still, practice will once again be delayed at least throughout this week. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Jennifer Prempeh. And I'm Jennifer Prempeh. City Council approved a resolution last night opposing bobcat trapping. Athens County gets an emergency declaration from the governors. Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Prempeh.
And I'm Joe Hennessy.
Nearly 2 weeks after the deadly school shooting in Parkland, Florida, gun control is still the strongest focus in Washington this week. The gunman in Parkland shooting used an AR-15 that he purchased himself legally. Republican Congressman Brian Mast addressed his issues with assault-style weapons and suggested that President Trump should take executive action to ban such weapons. Thank you guys. So we're going to have actually a little bit of cloudy weather today. As you can see, it's 45 degrees in this area, and so it's cloudy, mostly cloudy. Winds are going to be more towards the northwest, but it is actually supposed to warm up a little bit later today. You can see we're pretty much in the 50s for today, not too high, not too low, but it's still mostly cloudy weather. We're looking around. If we can take a look in Athens, we're looking at a 56. More towards Marietta and New Martinsville and Ripley, we are seeing a low of 50s. And then towards like Columbus and Newark and Cambridge and Jackson, a little bit all over those places, we're seeing a pretty much of a high of 50. As you can see, we have a high of 47 today and a low of 32. Normally, we would have been around a high of 60 and a low of 36. And during the year of 2013, we were an 86, and then in 1997, we were the low of 17, and I'm glad we're not there at that moment. As you can see, your sun will set at 8 p.m. today.